my OBS will behave because I don't know what's displaying on your end right now. Let's see if it will behave for me. There's just a bunch of spinning wheels and I kind of don't know why they're there. Let's see if they'll go away. There we go. They're gone on my end. I don't know if they're gone on your end. Mahalo everybody! Welcome to another Sunday stream. Welcome in Mila, welcome in Holt. How are you today? Hope things are behaving on this crazy little Sunday. Oh my goodness! Today we are doing the boy villains. As promised, I apologize for being out a week. Things got a little crazy, but I am back. I'm back to talk about the boys. I genuinely had to think when I made the thumbnail for this, because I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I like any. How many boys do I like? I feel like all of them are in very neutral categories, and I'm like, oh no, I do like it when, like, they give the guys plots. If the villains actually have a little bit more of a story, then I do think I like them. But it genuinely had to sit there for a minute being like, do I like any of the guys? Do I like the boys? But I think I figured it out. I think I have it straight enough to start going off, and I immediately don't remember some of the guys here. This lineup is gonna be rough for this entire first line because I don't remember any of their names. I'm gonna have to pull up. I'm gonna pull up a Futariwa name guide. Futariwa villains. Who are the? Don't give me the disambiguous Precure villains. There's too many for that. I know the new ones. I don't know any of the old ones. Yeah, okay. Okay. We're gonna see what we can do about this. Oh, I wish the organization was not so teeny-weeny. Yeah, the only one I remember is Kirya. I liked Kirya, but I don't understand what they did with his writing. I'm also saying yes, my mouse should be visible. Hopefully. Hopefully. Maybe it's here. I hope. We can go on my pointing journey. Starting with this discotheque queen. I do not remember him. I remember him visually. I think he is. This is Pissard, right? This is the piss villain. Is he the first one they fight? I'm trying to go with context clues. I remember this guy kind of sucks. Like they fight him, and I think they defeat him. I will give it to him. He has a good design. I mean, can I give them pity? Can I give them a pity category? I pity your existence. Is that a suitable place to put them? Like, I don't think he was a bad villain. Maybe. I don't remember you. I don't know who you are. I don't know where to put you. We're starting off real weak. Because I do vaguely remember you. I remember you have a doofy little name. And put you in just sugar, because I don't remember enough of you. I don't remember you enough to rank them. Oh god. There's this guy. Let's see if I can figure out who the heck you are. Like, I remember the buff guy in Max Heart. I don't remember the buff guy at all in Futariwa. Who are you? What is your name? Oh god. Geki Drago. You can't hit this guy with the name Geki Drago and then just make him like a bodybuilder, like a really basic looking bodybuilder. What is this? What is the? Look, let's zoom in. Can I zoom in, or is it gonna rescale things? We can get a little closer. Come over here. You can't escape me. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this man. He Geki Drago, and there's nothing lizardy about him. Does he transform? Before I continue this rant, does he transform at some point? Is this his final form? Putting you in here though. You're going in the forget me category. Gone. Absolutely obliterated from my memory. Then we have Kirya. I do remember Kirya, because I remember he had like a little romantic twist with Honoka. But then they were like, hey, no romance. And then like they separated him, and then I think they killed him. I just remember there was a lot of injustice for this guy. But I love when a villain is like evil and then is like, wow, magical girls are so cool, I don't want to be a villain anymore. I love that. I eat that up for breakfast, so I love him. He doesn't transform. Thank God. Thank God. Hello, today Nietzsche was a good villain. He is! He did a better job than usual. Welcome in, Liza. How are you? He finally earned my respect, but I'm a bit worried what will happen to him next week. Hopefully nothing too dark. It'd be so crazy if they killed him off as a villain already. If they were like, wow, you suck. Welcome to episode 6, you're erased. You didn't even make it to the double digits. Imagine they do that to poor Niji. Like, the fact that Uzo Noir is already like, this is unacceptable, we gotta start, you guys suck. This is your last chance. I'm like, bro, we are in the single digit episodes and we're already dropping the hard die. Like, what? That's crazy. That's so crazy to me. Anyways, oh, good. Who is this guy? Who? Who? I don't even know. Are we still like? I know these guys are Max Heart. Is this even a? Is this a Futaniwa villain? Kubo. Kubo is by far the most powerful of the Dark Five and the Evil King's right-hand man. Sure you are, buddy. Sure you are. And then we got like these Dragon Ball knockoff characters. We got Juna. Who are you? Who is Juna? Alright, buddy. I need to rewatch Futaniwa now that it's on Hulu. I just need to make use of my paying of that. Is a tall young man, the Seeds of Darkness from Futaniwa, more muscle of the group, stoic. He has a human alias. Sure you do, buddy. Alright, God. Next we got the Vegeta knockoff. Who are you? Who is this Vegeta knockoff? What have you done? Who are you? I'm scrolling. I can't find this dude. Where are you? Where are you? And I'm so sorry. Who are you? This guy? Bro is not even listed. I feel really, like, vindicated. Because this guy's not even in this. I am looking up and down the wiki. I have scrolled up and down multiple times. Who is this guy? Wait. Is it this guy? No, this is a different guy. Who are you? Oh, wait, I found him. Finally, you're at the top. What is it? Balze Gertrude? Oh, brother. Oh, brother. What is this guy? Now I think about it, Futaniwa. I remember it having just like, it's kind of like Sailor Moon to me, since it's one of the earlier seasons. It makes sense that Sailor Moon just like throws a bunch of villains at you, and you don't start to remember them until the end of the franchise when they got better at doing villains, like both on the end of Toei and Naoko. They both got better at writing villains. This guy is like if Vegeta and Hiei had a child. But they named him Balze Gertrude. Hello? I only remember the girl with the Uzumaki hair because she's pretty. She did go in the Forget Me category. She did go there. And then I vaguely remember, I actually do remember a little about this woman. I think she was with Kiria. They always seem to have the kind of like mom-child dynamic with some of them because they did that with Papiru and Lulu. But God. Alright, this guy here. This Butler character. I need to not get confused with the Butler character in Splash Star because one of them ended up being the twist villain. Was this bad guy? Oops, I closed the tab. Was this bad guy? Were you a twist villain or were you just a servant? I also did this really terrible thing to myself when I was little and I watched this show. I was like, I had this weird policy where I was like, I'm gonna watch the finales of shows, not at the same time. I was like, I'm gonna watch all of these different anime that exist, and then I'm just going to like stock up finales, and then when I'm emotionally prepared, I'm gonna watch all the finales. And I think I did that for Futariwa, and I think I also did that for Splash Star. And then by the time I watched the finale, I'm like, I have forgotten. I have forgotten what the show was about. I get to the finale and I'm like, I don't remember who any of you guys are and what we're fighting for. I'm never doing that again. Welcome in, Mojave. We don't know how powerful Usanor is. I got around 10 theories about what will happen to Niji, but if the boss will break all of the theories, I'll understand why Arcana betrayed Precure and is evil. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that. I think Niji will get off the hook because he did, technically speaking, succeed in getting the Makoto jewels this time. And then he's going to lose them somehow. Yosada, welcome in. How are you today? Hope you are doing well. Okay, butler villain. Oh, and thank you for becoming a member! I thought I changed the notification for that. Oop. I'm gonna have to go into Streamlabs and make sure that's updated, but I really appreciate it. Welcome to the membership. I gotta figure out why my notification is the basic one and not the updated one. Nevertheless, where's this butler guy? Where is this butler guy? Alright, I'm seeing characters in Splashdar. There's something wrong. There's misordering here. Where is this butler bro? Okay, see the movie villains. I'm blind. Is the butler so small that his tiny little picture on the wiki is too tiny for me to find it? Oh my goodness, I am looking everywhere. Girl, this guy's so forgotten, he also doesn't have a wiki. You know, I don't think he's even here. Are these just- no, wait, these are just the Zakina butlers, aren't they? These are just the Zakina butlers. They're not even a butler character, they're just the monster of the week, but they're goofy little butler versions of them. Wait a minute, I do remember you. You guys were funny. Ah, there we go, that's the proper notification. Thank you for becoming a magical. Now it works. Oh no, wait, that's the donation one. Thank you for the donation, I appreciate it. Have I missed Wester? No, we're still in the trenches for Futariwa. We haven't even made it to Max Art yet. We are in the trenches of I don't remember any of these people. Okay. There's the big bad. I think I vaguely remember that he was just kind of like a nothing, like, tormentor guy. Like the ambiguous, I'm just the big bad, but he never does anything. He's just like, I'm here, I'm big, and I'm evil. And then they just defeat him. Like, he's as interesting as, like, a lot of the movie villains end up being. Like, the first few, I want to say it's the first few XD movies, where it's just some amorphous, big, blobby guy who's evil, and there's, like, no personality to it. It's just, we gotta fight them. I think that's all it was. So, he's, like, a villain that I remember, but he's not great. He's just kind of there. Actually, it's disrespectful to put him that high. We gotta bring him down. Welcome in, Lovely. How are you today? Thank God. Don't worry, we'll get to that. We will get to that. Kira, welcome in. Welcome in. Hey, Honey Key, how are you today? Yes, I have my spring avatar. Winter is dead. We've killed her. It's spring. And hopefully, like, oh my God, it's warm here. It's like 60 degrees, guys. It might not get cold again. I say that, and it snowed in March here before. But if I believe in the Delulu, it's warm now. Spring is here. Screw winter. I'm done. I'm done hibernating. I can go outside. I can touch grass. I can play Pokemon Go. It's a good time. Oh, thank you again for another super chat. I appreciate it. See, that notification works. testing out the testing out the super chats. I very much appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I really believe the pre-kit mirror had the power to disguise the girls all this Saturday, only to be catfished with the Pretty Holic merch. Yeah, I did not expect the Pretty Holic merch to be the, like, we hide the characters, but I guess they have to sell the Pretty Holic merch somehow this season. The first few seasons have growing pains when it comes to villains. I feel that. I remember I liked the comedic moments, but I do remember them just being more dastardly. Like, we have such goober villains nowadays, and these villains were like, 90% of them were like, we're just evil and we suck. And then there would be one comedic one in the bunch. Alright, this kid. I remember him vaguely. He was like an empty bottle. He, like, had no personality, but that was, like, intentional. And he's also supposed to be, like, the big bad, but then the big bad, I think, ended up being a separate entity, which was kind of weird. Where I was like, I was kind of waiting for this kid to, like, pop off in the evil department, but he never did, and instead just ended up being adopted. He was fine. He's not much of a villain, which is why I'm putting him with the cookie with icing, because he's just not much of a villain. He didn't really do anything evil ever. I was like, I'm waiting for the twist where he, like, gets possessed and does evil things, but he just, like, never was bad. He was just weird and stared too much. This guy, I vaguely remember he was just evil, but I don't know if I remember him enough to move him outside of the I was just generically evil and that's it. So I'm gonna just put him in I don't quite remember. This guy, I remember he liked the kid and he's the only person who actually took care of the kid and he kind of had a father thing going. But then I think he just eventually, like, went into the I'm gonna be evil and then died. That is my summary of what happened. And I'm sure it's wrong, but that's the summary of what I remember. Guys, I'm worried for Nietzsche. They better keep him safe. In the UK, we've had snow. Yeah, you guys got crazy weather. You guys live in the clouds. I don't know if it's ever... I don't know if we've had snow in April. If we did, it happened, like, a long time ago. Like, when we had blizzards. There was one year in, like, 1998 where there was a lot of blizzards, but I was a wee babbin when that happened. It's 31 degrees for me. Oh god, that's awful. But it's going to get warmer, yay! The cold snow have been here are killing me. We gotta melt it. We gotta take it out. I like the kid because I love the way he could eat bombs in the last episode. Yeah, I think as a character, I like him more. As a villain, he's not a villain. I think that's my best way of putting it. All Precure villains are almost all boring and forgettable. Yeah, I feel like it wasn't really until, like, Fresh that they tried harder. Well, I guess they did a little bit better in Splash Star. This guy, I'm gonna pretend that that was the storyline for him, which is that actually he gotta go down a little bit more. He didn't do, like, he had potential with the father figure thing they had going there, but then he was like, actually, JK, I'm evil. And if that's the wrong plot line, then I apologize, Mr. Red Father Figure Man. This guy, I remember also being just generically evil. I can't remember if he was the leader, if the blonde guy was the leader, but one of you was the leader, and one of you was like, yeah, being evil. We are evil. And that was about it. I also have not been looking up their names. I've been very disrespectful. Okay, you're... Uraganos is this guy. Let's see if I can find the other ones. Well, we had the Evil King. He has a name. Evil King. What are you, who are the rest of you guys? Who even are you? We got Circulus. Was he a cloud dude? Like a Nimbus dude over here. And then, I feel like a printer right now with the noises I'm making. You're somebody that I can't find on the wiki. We don't know. You're so forgotten, I can't find your name. I don't think the old villains are boring, I just think that have another point at the villains at the start, especially because the 5 seasons are strong points for the cures. Yeah, I think they were just handling the villains differently back then. Tonally, again, it was more similar to Sailor Moon, where they're just supposed to be disposable. But I give it that Sailor Moon had better villain designs. If Utariwa Precure Max Heart in the final episode, the boy from the mansion grows to be the size of a planet. How do you think he could crush Cure Black and White? Welcome in, Carla. Listen, I'm looking for the... what's the word for it? The kaiju version of the little boy. Our little random German boy. Alright. You guys are Splash Star villains, right? You guys are Splash Star villains. I don't know if the Plant Man... he has to be. They had, like, nature theming, so surely he is the Splash Star villain. We've moved on to Splash Star, surely. Yeah, you gotta be part of the Dark Fall villains. All of you guys had, like, theming. I love that they don't even bother listing out the Dark Fall villains, they're just the Dark Fall villains. Okay, here we go. Who's who? Who's who? Come here. Okay, never mind. Where the plant dude? No, the plant dude is listed. Here we go. We got Karen Hahn. He's a Karen. He'll yell at you at the checkout counter. He has tree powers. He has a nickname. Oh yeah, Plant Guy over here. Gone. I do remember Moe Rumba, though. I do remember this little flamboyant dude. If for no other reason than he just had a better character design than everybody else. So I'm putting him in Just Sugar. Do I remember what he did? No. Do I think he was evil? Yeah. I think he was evil. I think he kind of sucked. But do I remember anything else? No. I do not. Evil King, the worst named Precure villain. Yeah, they were a little struggle busting for that one. Now I think about it, I'm not sure the Phantom villains won't care or get scared if Usun or would kill Niji in their eyes. Yeah, it's way too early. If they killed Niji, they wouldn't care. They would not blink an eye. What if Utariwa Max Heart final episode? The boy from the mansion. Okay, I did read that. They can't do anything too drastic with Niji. I was like, yeah, they're 5 episodes in. Surely not. Spanish boy is a best villain. Welcome in Conrado. Cha cha cha. Yeah, I just remember him being like flamboyant and like fun, but also pretty evil. This rejected Spider-Man design. Don't remember. Doran, Boro, Doring, Duran, Duran in the morning. I don't know what that guy is. Gone. Alright. Then we have Keen Toleski, which I assume, isn't it because like Keen means gold? This guy, forget about him. Gone. I see people listed here that I don't even think are in this tier list. There's some villains that they got in this show that aren't even on the tier list. Next we have like the big bad allegedly, which to be fair, he's Akko Daikon, which I think is like Demon Radish is this dude's name. Shout out to him. I remember he just wasn't the actual final villain, and instead it was this guy. This guy was the twist villain. And I could probably zoom back out for this. I remember that this guy was the twist villain. That's all I remember is that they're like, oh, he's like the little shrimpy servanty guy who's always talking for the villain, but then they made him the villain. And I was like, that was a nice twist. Moe was the start of the gay villains. I have a soft spot for him. Cha cha cha. Fair enough. Fair enough. Completely understand. Next up, I guess are these the first few villains for Yes 5? Good lord. Yes 5 characters. Who are you guys? I just remember Bumby. I forget that there were other villains that just weren't Bumby. But to be fair, Bumby, like, wasn't a villain. I forgot that they all, like, turn into bug people. Like, because it's like, you know, they're butterflies and these are, like, the bugs that are destroying the plants. Like, I forgot that they had all these, like, Kamen Rider insectoid villains. Immediately, I found Bumby in the list, and I need to find this dude. Are you... No, that's a different villain. I found all the other villains. Wait, is it this guy? Is it this guy? No, wait. Maybe it was the... Shoot. Who are you? Alright, we've got... Girima. I'm sure that's a pun. I'm sure there's an etymology tab. We will read the etymology. Kamakiri means mantis, and your name is... Kirima. Sure. Okay. The only reason I'm scared of next episode is because of Niji's fate. Other than that, I'm excited for the new attack since last 2 weeks. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see how they wrap things up since they're two-parting it. When the big boss says the general has one last chance, it's never the last chance. That's so true. That's so true. What if the You and Idol Precure final episode cures Tom's Darnki's fairy form? Would her steps be compared to fairies? Oh my goodness. Guy is unmemorable. Gone. Next we got Frog Guy. I think I did see him in the list. Gamau. What's your story, Gamau? I'm sure that's a frog pun. A large man from Yes Precure 5 who resembles a hobo. This is a really rich description we're getting of this dude. Gamma means toad. There you go. Alright. Back to the Forgotten Dungeon. Next, Kamen Rider knockoff character. I will have to find you. Where are you in the list? I need to get, like, waiting music. I need to get something to fill the dead air of me not knowing who any of these characters are. I can't even find them. Is this Bumby? It's just Bumby, isn't it? But it is Bumby. I am so not used to his monster form. Holy, it's been so long. Look at Bumby. Look at the little man. I do remember Bumby. Bumby is like, not quite wedding cake. I'll put him in donut. I totally forgot he got this little Kamen Rider looking at, like, his actual form. I'm just used to him looking like a white man. Holy, we're struggling. We're struggling in the early tiers. Oh my goodness. All right, Bat Guy. Bat Guy, who are you? Bat Guy. I looked at one and it's just Geodude. That's not helpful. Bat Guy, Bat Guy, Bat Guy. Oh my god, I hate how big the ads are. I don't need them to take up 90% of the screen. Alright. Alright, you're somewhere in here. God, I can't wait till we get to seasons where I remember the characters. This is suffering. Alright, I'm giving up on Bat Guy. I can't find you. You're not memorable. Same with other guy, not memorable. This guy not memorable. This guy not memorable. This guy not I've enjoyed our time with Yes Precure 5 and Yes Precure 5 Go Go. Anyways, Fresh Precure, everybody. We are at Fresh Precure now. Bumby needs to return for Avengers Doomsday. He needs to reappear again. Usanor sounded disappointed father tonight towards Niji, so no wonder the Phantom villains and Arcana Shadow don't get along with each other. It's all the sibling villain rivalry. And Smile Precure the villains are the Big Bad Wolf, the Akaoni, and then the Evil Queen. And then a Jester. Yeah. Me when I try to remember a Precure villain. Who are you again? Literally the entire time. Anyways, we're on to Fresh Precure where we've got good villains, which I still think it's weird that the tier list didn't feel like including the villains that turned into cures. I find that amusing. Nonetheless, we have Westar. Westar immediately. Like, we go from not knowing anybody. I remember Westar. He was funny. I liked Westar. He, always had a good heart. He wasn't super duper evil. He was a cutie pie. I also like Solar. He's also gonna go up there. Like, he was nice, but he took a little bit more to come around. These two were good. These are good villains. They definitely, I don't know, maybe it's just because they finally started doing the villains a little bit younger. Whenever the characters are a little bit younger, they tend to treat them better as villains. They're far more interesting characters. Welcome in, Starseek! How are you today? Hi, Queen. What are your thoughts on K-pop Demon Hunters as Magical Girl-esque media? I count it. I 100% count it. I have no problem, considering that. I feel like it fits it. But I also have a very loose definition of magical girls compared to others. Solar is hot. I said it. He was a heartthrob for a lot of people, I'll tell you that. I remember people were thirsting for him back in the day when I watched this season. Alright, God, I forget you guys had names. One of you is Klain, I think. I think Klain was the name of somebody. I think you're Klain. I don't remember you actually. And then is this Mobius? Wasn't this what Mobius actually ended up looking like? Oh, yeah, whatever. Pretty forgettable. Westar, my himbo king. He's great. I love him. I love Westar. They're up there where they belong, up on the tier list. And now we're gonna get to our regularly scheduled villains. We get our hard catch villains, which I love all of the hard catch villains. They're so fantastic. I feel like the writing got better because then you get really attached to them, even though they're evil. I did not expect necessarily at the beginning that the villains for Heartcatch were going to get redeemed, but I'm happy that they did. So we have this is Kumojaki, right? He's the one who's the samurai dude. He was fun. I think it's really funny that he joined Itsuki's dojo at the end of the show. I think he's pretty strong, but also I don't think he's super duper special. I like Sasorino more. Kobodaja, I remember him being a kind of a little stinker. He was kind of annoying, which I think is a good villain thing. I remember him being incredibly irritating when he got introduced. But then you're like, he's another one of the villains. He's another one, but he just kind of sucks. But also, I love the long hair male characters. I'm weird like that. No, that's fair. You got a type. It happens. Um, Sabaku is just a really well written villain in general. I don't know if I'm putting him in wedding tier because I don't love him, but I do think he's a well written villain. I think the whole bit with him, like, doing it for his family and then being evil was a great twist. His the plot twist with him in Moonlight was really good. Like, it just felt well written, which is funny because Dune I feel very opposite with. Dune is interesting because like Dune is such a nothing burger character. There is like next to no explanation for this dude. He's just hot. I wish they had both photos of Dune because I like both versions of Dune a lot. Like this dude just showed up and like had mad charisma and then no story. There is literally nothing to this villain. He's just like, yeah, it'd be really cool if the world was a desert. And then I got beef with Cure Flower. But he's got no story. But he is hot, and this is where I'm going to let him win on Pretty Privilege. I like both of his forms. He looked good with long hair, he looked good with short hair. I'm a fan of the 13th Princess's villain. Yeah, dude, they should have been on the list. Why people don't like her? She's gorgeous, memorable. I love her. Our evil queen. Kobaraja just loves himself, and I've always been here for that. Some vanity. Sprinkle on some vanity. Alright. Oh, we've got... Okay, I don't remember them super distinctly for Sweet, but it's like it's the trio. I'm gonna look up their names. Sweet, Precure. I don't remember them aside from the one that actually matters as it goes. These kind of things. Alright, let's see. What are your guys' names? Okay, we have Mephisto. I'm gonna skip ahead and just do Mephisto first. Love Mephisto. Great villain. I love a little brainwashed dad. I love a little brainwashed dad. He's great. I think he was a good villain. I think he served his purpose. And then, like, the reveal that he's actually a good guy and a loving father was cute. I think he was a solid villain for a show, and it's the first time we've had the, like, twist father plotline. Then we've got these guys. There's bass drum and baritone I remember very little about. I just remember them being there and they would have like comedic dialogue, so I'm just gonna put them with cookie with icing. They'll do. I might bring them down to health bar. They're just kind of there. But falsetto being like the twist evil like lackey who gets promoted into being evil, I think is like a tier above them. I still don't find his character super exciting. You kind of thought he was going to be the weakest in the bunch and then he ended up being the strongest. I think that was a neat plot twist. But other than that, like, he's not my favorite villain in the franchise, but I appreciate them trying to do something different with how they handled the story. Vain characters are my beloved. Fair enough. He's so protective of his daughter. Yeah, that's why we stand with Ethel. I'm surprised Blue from Happiness Charge. He should be on the list. I think I'll add him. He'll be here in my heart. And then we have Noir. Or not Noir, Noise. Noise, same. It's interesting because Noise, like, him being a little bird and then being the big bad was an interesting play. I don't know if I fully was on board with it or it fully made sense, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I think he's an okay villain. Anyway, Smile. Smile Precure! I love everything about these villains in concept because I think the Smile villains are probably one of the most uniform groups of it because all of them are based off of typical villains from fairy tales. Because you have Wolfadun, who's just the big bad wolf, and with it being the fairy tale themed one, the big bad wolf is one of the most iconic like bad guys there. I think it's one of the times where they let the villains be a little bit more comedic. I really enjoy him. I kind of wish that they did what they did with the Smile movie and the villains in the Smile movie. I wish they did that with the main ones. I liked Wolf Wodun. I think he's a solid villain. Put him in Brownie. He didn't do much, but he was there and he did his job. I love Aka Oni. It's literally just the red Oni from the Owl Oni storyline. I think it's clever. It's part of like children's media. It really fit the theme. He's the sillier, goofy, like big guy in the group. I think it's just very, very solid. Who's the Chinbok guy? I hate his look. Girl, which one? There's so many. There's so many questionable looking designs. Blue is the enemy, so true. I hate blue. Smile villains all have really strong concepts. They do. They've got the best. They're so good. And then Joker, I think, is one of my favorite twist villains. Like, because the dude was a jester, and I hate clowns. He was a mega creep, and then he ended up being the big bad, which is like, yeah, he sucks. He's terrible. Like he absolutely fit the like. I do think he's one of the most like despicable-esque villains in the series in terms of just being an evil guy who makes you feel uncomfortable. Like his actions, I guess, like in the grand scheme of things, he didn't do overly super evil things. There's far more like malicious characters in the show. Z shows the. But I think as just being like you hate him, Joker fits the bill. He was really creepy. I hated him with every fiber of my being. I have a controversial opinion on Joker. He's so creepy despite being a really good villain. I can't move past the freaky part of him, which is every part of it. Yeah, he's so freaky. He's so creepy. But I hate clowns, so it just like he just adds to that. I'm like, eh. Anyone else even remembering the reveal of the Smile Precure being like them being fairies? Yeah. I love that. Well, that's why I really like the movie a lot. And how you get that a little bit packaged better. I love the comedy in Smile. One of the episodes made me laugh so hard. Yeah, I think they just had a better balance with like silly Billy villains, but also being creepy. I think it's honestly one of the best structured for villains in my opinion. Smile is the most overrated season. Maybe I should watch it, but I did not like Glitter Force. Very fair. Welcome in, Fried Pie. Very, very fair take. Also welcome in, Bread Clone, if I have not said hi to you yet. What if a You and Idol Precure had a shrunk episode? Oh my god. I feel like that's such an American cartoon classic to have one episode where everybody shrinks down. And then usually goes inside somebody's body to learn about anatomy. It's such a weird trope. Now we get into Doki Doki. I also really like the first few Doki Doki villains. Doki Doki, I feel like, really dropped the ball in their villains because they had good ones. I genuinely think they messed up by dropping the balls with them. Ira, I think, is one of my top tier villains. But I will say my bias with Ira is that he had a really cute love story with Kier Diamond. And I was like, oh, that's adorable. And like the amnesia arc, and I was like, oh my god. If he forgets that he's an evil demon, he actually could be really nice. I'm very pissed off. And this is spoilers for Doki Doki. This is spoilers for Doki Doki. I'm very pissed off that he's like, oh yeah, we're demons, so we're gonna go take a nap for 1,000 years and then come back. And I was like, what? If there were any villains to be worthy of redeeming and getting them, like, into society, it would have been the Doki Doki villains. Like, they stopped being evil so quick. They stopped being evil so quick. And I don't understand why they had to be like, well, they're actually for reals demons and they're permanently demonic. And I was like, that's so rude. That's so rude. I never forgave them. The last episode of Doki Doki made me so mad for so many different reasons. I have to like always sit there and be like, I'm not that mad, but I am that mad. And then Bell, I think he was a fine twist villain. I don't think he was as compelling as like Joker or anything. Like him being the sloth guy, I kind of just wanted him to continue to be the sloth guy. I also think he should have gotten redeemed, to be completely honest. Also, these guys felt more like a family. Like, between, Marmo, Belle, and Ira, they genuinely felt more like a family than any other villains to me. I think Tropical Rouge rivals that, but that was such a family thing. Da-da-da. It's not because him being a clown, it's because how close he gets, he keeps showing me his Stop! Oh my goodness. I love the Jikochu trio. Too bad everything that comes after them is lame. Honestly, they're my fave villain group. I love their villain. They had such strong them in the bowling alley was such a fun thing. What if Doki Doki Precure Regina would become gigantic and join the final not another kaiju friend. Marmo is mine, by the way. She's great. These two suck though. Dude, they even have them listed here. Yeah, it's Leva and Gula. They were like, oh, we need more villains, but then they like don't do anything and they just kind of die. I can't say I don't remember them because I do remember them. But they suck. I'm just putting them in sugar. They were terrible. They just kind of added on because they're like, oh yeah, our characters are based off the 7 deadly sins. We should probably have 7 of them. Like, they feel so forgotten. They're like, oh yeah, we had to have more villains. And then they die and they're like, and they're gone. I was so whatever. So whatever. I'm trying to figure out who these guys are. Because I guess technically speaking... these are the, like, multiple versions of the antagonist. Who is this guy? Because I know, like, Regina's dad was evil, but I don't remember what he looked like when he was evil. Is this him when in his evil form? I thought he had a humanoid evil form. Yeah. Dude, I guess this is a Regina. This is like not. He's like Regina's dad, but also like everybody else's dad. If this was the dad, you can't even see his form. It's just a amorphous black blob. Um, he was a good twist villain, even if his picture is useless. I thought he looked more like his human form, but I guess I'm misremembering. I guess they did have that whole lava pit scene. And then is this what Lazy Guy looked like when he villained up? Is that his form too? I don't remember them looking like, I remember them looking a little more normal. But I guess they're just like, and we're the devil / gargoyles. I don't remember these designs. Oh my god. Underrated trope for me is gentle giants. Oh, I do love that. I do love when they look really intimidating and they're actually nice. They did that in the, like, random show I'm gonna explain here, but the Jackie Chan Adventures, there was a big guy who was, like, really intimidating, but then he ends up joining the team and he's really nice. And I think that was the first time I had seen that trope and I was like, oh, I love this. I love the slow burn of a bad guy turning into a good guy and then being like, a big teddy bear. That won me over. Alright, I do remember the villains being not horrible for Happiness Charge. Depending on which character we're talking about, to be fair. If we're talking about Blue is the word, like, is absolutely awful. Blue sucks. Like, things would not be a problem if Blue wasn't stupid. We have, God... I'm trying to remember their names. Because you have to be Nama Kelder, I guess was your name. Yeah. He's whatever. I'm putting him down here. I think he was a whatever villain. Oreski, I do remember. You were funny. I remember laughing at your existence. So you're gonna get to Brownie tier, because I do remember you being funny. Phantom was great. Phantom was fantastic. He was very evil. He was very much a problem. And then the end of his story was really adorable. I think he was a really good one. And I like the intimidation of being like, oh yeah, I'm a Precure hunter. Like that was intense where he's like, I'm not just a bad guy, I'm a Precure hunter. Like, he was over the top. He was over the top and intimidating. Welcome in, Alexis. How are you today? Da 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 da. I see kaiju stuff doesn't stop, so I'll ask if my Acton in real life 7'7" tall height, would you be scared then? He's a skinny gentle. No, I'm not scared of tall people. If something's the size of a skyscraper, I would like not to get stepped on. No, I missed my Hingbo. Yeah, we missed Wester. We have blazed past Wester, but he's up here. Don't worry, he's up here. We're good. Blue's entire existence alone made Happiness Charge so hard to watch. Yeah, Blue, like, I was initially, when they first started the show, I was like, oh, instead of having, like, a queen-esque, god character, we have a male god character. I'm like, oh, we're switching it up. Like, maybe the final boss will be a girl instead of always being a guy. I was, like, kind of excited that they were gonna do something different. And then they didn't, and it was way worse than I thought, and I was like, oh... I think Go Princess brought it back. Go Princess did a little bit better, but we didn't... God, how long does it take us to get a final villain that's a girl? Like, the first one I can think of is Star Twinkle, but was there nothing sooner where we had a final baddie who was a woman? Now that I think about it. Because Red ended up being the alleged final bid bad for this one instead of Queen Mirage, which is fair, but... He just wasn't much of a villain. I want to say I like him. I like Red. He's very similar to Star Twinkle, where I'm like, you know, you got a point. You got a point. They do suck. Everybody around you sucks, and you're very justified for your actions. Like, you're gonna tell me I'm wrong? Are you gonna tell me I'm wrong? When I first saw Resky, when I first watched Happiness Charge, I was like, looks like a comedy villain to me, truly. Which season are we at? I just dropped in. We are wrapping up Happiness Charge. And I think we're going on to Go Princess, because I think that was it for that. Clothes I kind of hate. I feel like I didn't like him being the twist final villain, personally. Clothes was like a dorky dude, and he was like a dorky good first villain, but then like him being like, I kept getting angry and then I became the embodiment of darkness. I didn't love it, to be completely honest. I think I preferred what they did with Joker over what they did with Clothes, with him having been the final baddie. To be fair, he had a good fight with Flora, but like, I don't know. There's something about him being the villain and like him just getting angrier. Because at first he was like comedically angry and just not doing well, but then he got like legitimate angry, and I was like, I don't like that. All the guys are wedding cake tier and go pre. Ooh, oof, oof. I'm a Clothes hater. I'm so sorry. I don't know. There's something about like the male rage getting more and more real that kind of I didn't like. I was like, ooh, I don't love that. I'm sorry. He made me uncomfortable. I didn't like him being the villain. That being said, Shut goes up here. I don't like Elizio at all. He's such a creep towards everyone. I also don't like when we get to him. Well, I missed a good chunk having breakfast. I hope breakfast is going well for you. I'm hoping you are eating something delightful. But yeah. Shut's up here. He's a demon. A diva, also a demon, but a diva. I love him, and then him being a fan of like Twilight, and then like being like, dude, I like Twilight. I thought she was badass, and then we got Toa, and I'm like still loyal to her. He's like, I don't care about the villains. She's really cool and badass, and I think that's pretty neat. So Shut was great. And this is Lock, right? Shut, Close, and Lock. I thought he was interesting because it's like technically the hoodie is evil and then he's not. I thought that was a fun twist. I feel like they could have done more with his character. I thought he was relatively fun. I'll put him up there. I think he was a pretty solid villain. They ruined Elizio, but somehow I still love it. I'm watching through Go Pre for the first... Oh. And didn't want to be spoiled anything I wasn't expecting. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Expecting to have to mute the volume for Close, though. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Futariwa, Max Heart, do you consider Cure Black and Cure White? The villains are also anti-heroes due to their violent personality towards the villains, unlike he could... No, not at all. I think the violence is fine. I'm honestly pro more violence in Magical Girls series than not, but I do think having better villains to push back against the violence is good. It's okay, I'm so sorry. I don't remember these guys. I remember them, but then I don't remember them, and I don't remember them doing much, so I'm gonna put them in Just Sugar. And then we will go very quickly through the villains that are in Mahotsukai. You go here. You go here. You actually I do remember you. You were a little shit. You go here. You sucked. I remember you actually sucked and you were annoying. And then you go here. 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 And then you actually were kind of you're okay. And that was Mahotsukai Precure! Yay! I don't know why the villains were just so insanely forgettable in Mahotsukai. I remember this guy had a nice design. That's about all I remember from the Mahotsukai villains. Cause who the hell fried the hell out of their wrist? No! I'm so sorry! Gotta get some Neosporin. How do you not remember Batty? Listen. Mahotsukai was a blur, but to be fair, I think it was during the time that I was transitioning from high school to college, so there was a lot going on in my life when this season aired, and I vastly don't remember it. Like, I think it was at such a transitory time, and I really wasn't attached to. I wasn't attached to Mahotsukai until the very end. Well, that was fast. Mentioning Shut once more, he had such a bad time, poor guy. Screw you, clothes. Real. Oda deserves higher. He's hot and sexy and has a body pillow. Stop. Stop. Yeah, I think it's just because of where my life was. I'm due to rewatch Mahotsukai, which I do think one of these years I'm gonna do it in October and just go through it. The Kira Precure villains. Pulling them up because I don't remember what the blob guy's name was. Because I know it was just like all the different, like they had like evil fairies for some reason. And then like the evil fairy, like this one thing I didn't like about Kira Kira is it took too long to have villains, and then it had really good villains, and I was like, why did we bother? Why did we bother having these guys? Why did we bother having these little doodads who were like, what are they? The Kira Kira thieves are an evil group of mischievous fairies. Their main goal is to steal the stuff. They suck, and they were manipulated to be evil. These guys are like, I feel like we're so useless. I feel like we could have skipped them. I'll be honest. I think I'm putting them in Just Sugar because I was like, why do we have these guys as villains when this season actually kind of delivered on some villains here? Which is where I will be taking my son right to the top, where he belongs. Whether we're going with Rio, Picario, Pure Waffle, Julio, I still don't know what name we're supposed to refer to him as. Either way, top tier guy. Love him. He's great. No notes. Should have been a Precure. Oh my god. Novelist T when she talks about Motsukai Precure builds. Who are you people? I don't remember any of them. I know this is so forgettable. Speaking of Futariwa, why people were scared when Black and White fight against each other in the movie, but were okay with Arcana fighting? I don't get it. I think it's because, like, Black and White were good and then turned evil, whereas Arcana Shadow is just already evil. I found out last year that Orba has a body pillow. It shocked me to the grave. I remember that there's certain seasons where I don't know if they were official, but they have body pillows for all the cures, and I was like, don't do that. What if Kibo no Chigara, Otome Precure, Nozomi would become gigantic? I think the season would be shorter if she kaiju'd. This thing. What is this thing? What are you? What's this wolf thing? What's this thing? I don't remember this. Is a dog wolf-like monster who. Oh, are these just the wolves that showed up in the flashback? Is that what this thing is? Are these just the wolves from the flashback? Get out of here. Whatever. They don't count. Those are lackeys. They don't count as true villains. Whatever. Whatever. Grave is fine. Grave just was there. I didn't care about him. Julio should have been a cure over CL. I mean, I don't disagree with you. He should have been our first male cure, let's be real. Orba and Wolfadoon are the only villains with body pillows. That's wild. Noir was a boring villain. He's just like generically evil and didn't have much else going for him. So I'm gonna put you down. I'll put you next to Despair. You belong together for just being generic villains. Elysia was better. Like, it made sense that they made Elysia a twist villain. He's just not as good as our previous twist villains. I feel like we could have done more with him. As a, I honestly feel like maybe we need to take a longer break from twist villains. Just because we've had a couple of, like, the second to last villain is actually the big bad. We've kind of done that. And it felt like Elysia was just kind of too much of doing the same thing. I feel like other kings did it better. Other kings ended up being... Actually, I should probably move you down next to the first twist villain that did a better job. Like, again, I think Joker did a better job. I think this guy did a better job. Trying my best here. That wolf wasn't a lackey, it was a villain. He does start talking. Oh, does he? Thank you for the follow, I very much appreciate it. He did more? I don't remember. Maybe I should put him in the don't remember one. I do remember before, what was her name? Cure Lumios? Is that what her name ended up being? Of course, they're not gonna have her somewhere I can find. All I know is that she got surrounded by, like, dogs, and Bibudi got surrounded by, like, shadow dogs. Maybe the dog did more. I'll put the dog and I don't remember. What's up with the villains with teal turquoise hair? I know, it's very rude. Everybody knows that if you have blue hair, you're actually super good. In Wonderful Precure, the two main villains are wolves, except for the final villain who's revealed to be Mowgli. Stop. Oh my god. It's kind of true, though. Cure Butterfly is the only adult cure that should have a body pillow, but not everyone else. Oh my goodness. Alright, on to... Hugito. I don't know why I immediately forgot Hugito's name. I'm forgetting everyone's names today. This is the amnesia episode. Let's see. Trying to remember everybody's names. God, what was your name? What was this tan dancy guy name? What was your name? They don't put the villains in order, and that doesn't help me. What was your name? You were Charlotte? You had a dumb name. I remember you had a name that didn't fit your appearance, in my opinion. He was... I didn't like him as a villain. But it's not so much that he was the problem, it was the writing around him. I do think, like, there's something to be said about the Hugito villains because they're all just, like, people who didn't work well in corporate Japan, and he's just kind of, like... I don't think Yankee is the best way to describe him, but he's, like, one of those, like, surfer bros who doesn't want to do hard work, and that was, like, his whole stereotype. But, I did not care for. I think this is like I actually think I got in a lot of heat on Twitter back in the day. Ironically enough, this was my, like, first few days on Twitter. I think I got in a huge fight with the fandom because I really didn't like the end of his arc where he finished his time as a villain and then got saved by Curiel. I hated how they handled that with every fiber of my being. And then that's where I learned that Twitter is mean. And Twitter was like, you're not allowed to have that opinion. You don't understand Precure. And I was like, okay, I may not remember a lot of the male villains, but I have seen seasons of Precure before. They're like, this girl's like a poser. She's here and she doesn't know what she's talking about. And I'm like, I think I am allowed to not like the way his plotline ended. And I don't care for him that much. Hi, yeah, I did see your birthday was yesterday when you were in live stream. Welcome in, FNAF. Happy birthday. He reforms, becomes a good guy in a stream. I missed the part about him becoming a streamer. He would. Nobody else can be the best. Because, honestly, no, that's not even a joke. That's serious. Papadoo was so much better. Papadoo was way, way better. I see a green guy that, always says, I'll defeat the cures in 5 minutes, and then gets defeated by Dr. Chom. They got done so dirty, truly. Let's see. Has anybody figured out what Hugito means? Oh, there was, there's a thing, like, Hugato is like hug, but there's a pun in there that it's a little hard to explain because it's like a Japanese pun. Twitter is bad. Twitter is not great. I think, I was a wee lass when I was on Twitter during the Hugato days. And then now I know better. Now I know better that people are dumb on Twitter. And I can just be like, and you're blocked. And we don't have to sit here and fight about stuff. But yeah, I people were very rude. People were very rude and did not like you saying anything negative about Precure, specifically when Hugato aired. They're still like that now, but I think people are a little bit more like, you have your opinion and I'll be upset about it. Back then it was, you can't have this opinion, you're a fake fan. That was the attitude back then. Da, 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 da. Which, I mean, like, people can like that if they want to. I just did not. Da, 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 da. The fact that Precure don't repeat cure names is impressive but expected, but the fact that they don't repeat villain names is impressive. Happy waste right there. To be fair, we have Noir, and then now we have Uso Noir. Twitter is full of arguments and people just don't respect each other's opinions, just like TikTok. I don't know why social media is like that nowadays. Yeah, it's not. It's a toxic place. But I think it's like the interesting thing is that every website has their own interesting toxic flavor. Because like the way that people are toxic on Reddit is different than the way people are toxic on Twitter, which is different from TikTok. But to be fair, I haven't used TikTok in so long. Like the legislation around TikTok's been bad and the app itself has just gotten progressively more frustrating. Also for some reason, and I don't know what I did. I genuinely don't remember what I must have done because I don't think I was in Malaysia at one point. I went to a wedding in Malaysia. And so I don't think I downloaded TikTok when I was on that trip. But for some reason TikTok is like you're from Malaysia. And I'm like I'm not from Malaysia. And my entire feed is in what is it, Bahasa? Or no, that would be Bahasa Indonesian. It's just in Malay, I guess. But like all of it, they're like it's like you can buy stuff in ringgit, and I was like, I don't want to see everything in ringgit. Please put it back to USD. And I have contacted them so many times, and they're like, well, you can't change your region. And I was like, why? I'm in America. You could see my IP address. I'm in America. Please stop having my TikTok be in Malaysia. Malaysia's great, but I can't understand what people are saying, and I get all these posts of people, and I don't know what they're saying, and I want some of my English posts, please. I can't read my settings; it's all in Malay, and I'm like, maybe I should just learn Malay and like deal with it. But then it's also like gonna get banned every 5 seconds, so I don't know. I gave up on TikTok. I was like, this is too much. I enjoyed my time when it was good, but the second they went from being like, we don't like curated content and we want you to talk at the camera, I was like, and I don't belong anymore. I will not be showing my IRL face on camera and yapping for people to yell at me or insult my appearance. I don't want to do that, actually. There's a reason why I'm an anime girl. But that was a rant that I should not have gone on. Oh my god. I miss watching Hagato when it was still airing. I do think there were some things that was nice about watching Hagato. I think it was one of the first ones that I indulged in the community. Because I think before then I was on Tumblr and I had switched to Twitter that year. And Tumblr community never talked to each other. Or at least I didn't talk to the Tumblr community. I just reblogged posts. Like I would be like, Precure art, reblog. Precure art, reblog. I would just do that. That's how I found Leo though, because I think Leo was reviewing Kira Kira, and that's how I found him. And he would post all his reviews on Tumblr. Like he would repost the YouTube ones there, and I was like, this guy's pretty cool. And then I became friends with him, and then I left Tumblr around that time. I refuse to call Twitter X. Same. I won't be doing that. They can't make me. You can't make me. Infu Tariwa, Precure Max Heart, Movie 1, Dark Witch, How Did She Die, What Is Your Death? I don't remember. It's been too long. I remember the second movie more than I remember the first one. For TikTok, and we had TikTok by Kesha. I know the real TikTok that matters. I also hate it. We hate AI in this household. None of that. None of that in here. We hate it. Specifically Gen AI. It's getting annoying. You don't have to spam the same question 3 times. True. Unfortunately, Twitter, I had a friend and lied about supporting me in my art. He blocked me. Yeah. There's just some weirdness with the internet. I miss the old internet around 2017 to 2021 when the internet was fun and great memes. I have to think about specifically there because I was in college during that period of time, and I think I was too preoccupied with college that I didn't do too much internet at that point. I think I was like in my final years and I had to get a job, so I think I was very stressful. I left Tumblr during the purge. I think I left right before the purge. What if Futariwa Max Heart finale? You're gonna keep asking if every character grows into a kaiju. Anyways, this guy. This guy he was gonna be a forgettable villain. He was gonna be whatever. But I think this is the guy who sat there and dropped a hard line, and I'm trying to remember what it was. There was something like there was one episode where the girls were like, friendship matters, and like, you know, friendship and happiness and good will triumph over evil, and he drops some hard bar like you think everybody's still friends when we're adults or something. He dropped some kind of nuclear line in the show that was like, dang, he went there. He called out the friendship BS. I also think he's the one villain that got like re-evilized. Like he sat there and he tried to have a business, and then when his business failed, he's like, screw it, I'm gonna be evil again. And I thought that was insane. I think he's a funny villain because they kept making him real. Like he's the version of real corporate evil that's I think is funny in a kid's show compared to the way they handle like the villains got a little too real in Hagato, but his version of real was funny. Everybody else was uncomfy. If I see AI on Twitter, I'm always blocking. Yeah, hard same. It's hard not to find social media that has no AI. It doesn't allow people to see. Yeah. I do appreciate, though, if I'm on social media and somebody posts AI and it's very clearly AI, like there's no room for, like, questioning it, and people in the comment section are just, like, roasting them. Love that. These two guys are just, like, extra lackeys. They're just the butlers for, what was it, Jealous? They're whatever. They don't do much. They're just there. I think they were comedic, from what I remember, but I'm putting them down there because they just don't do much. Ooh! I need to drink water before I go into this rant. Dr. Traum, aka for me, Dr. Traumatic, is also one of like the most nefarious villains in the franchise. I need to scroll down because you can't see him. Dr. Traum, this little bee, this everybody, dude. This is going to be controversial because I do know that people love Dr. Traum. They're like, oh, but he had a daughter, and he's actually a guy who loves his daughter and all that. And I was like, I didn't forgive him. He literally had one of the most he was one of the most powerful villains with his time travel shenanigans and was gonna write Precure out of existence. Like, he was an actual threat. And then he was like, oh no, boo-hoo, my daughter died, so I killed everybody else. Like, people are like, George is evil. And he does, like, nearly the same damn thing as Dr. Traum, but they're like, oh, Dr. Traum, you're totally fine. You're off the hook. And I was like, he is equally as bad to me as George. The only thing that George did worse than him is that George did cheat on his dead wife. And that made me mad. For somebody who's trying to say he's a wife man. I hate Dr. Traum. And then he's like, I'm sorry, Lulu. And I was like, no, you're not. She literally got, like, electrocuted from the sky and then, like, turned into a Rice Krispie treat. Like, Dr. Traum, you suck. I hate you. Putting you down here. I hate him and I never forgave him. You guys let him off too easy. I refuse to believe that he turned things around. He had so many opportunities to treat Lulu better and he didn't. And then he's like, maybe I do care about Lulu. And I was like, that's a lie. Banned. Hate him. Precure version of We Don't Talk About Bruno. We don't talk about Force. I started to become interested in Precure through Glitter Force, like many people. The first season was airing during Star Twinkle, but I watched Go Princess as my first season, if you don't count Glitter Force. A good entry point. I hope you enjoyed it. Alright. Oh god, what was your name? You had a weird name too. Bishin? Bishin? You're just the hamster people were weird. Like, am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to say that the hamster people were weird and I think they were too many villains? I feel like they just did Bishin to kind of push the whole like Harry Homare situation. And Bishin is like, I'm also kind of in love with Harry, but not. And I was like, what are we doing? Well, I hate Bishin. Wait, Curiel was dead in the future, or was it a different wife? Yeah, Curiel died. So this is gonna be mild trigger warning with this. They could not include this in the main series because it was too dark for the series. Curiel, they confirmed this. The one of them, the J director confirmed this in an interview post mortem for the series. Curiel, so spoilers for Hakuto. People don't want spoilers for Hakuto. Curiel, I don't know how. They never explain how she became a cure, but she also was a cure in the Doom timeline. But she was a cure alone. She didn't have any allies, and she was separated from her family for some reason and became incredibly isolated, and then married George. But she had no family connections. And so she became incredibly depressed and took her own life. And so George, loving his wife, was like, oh no, my wife died, but I can't pinpoint a specific moment in time where she died. Like, because if you have depression, it doesn't matter. If things are going to go to as dark as that was going to go, he's like, I can't find any particular point in time to stop her from being depressed. So instead, he goes so far back in time when she's a kid and then basically wants to freeze time to prevent her from ever growing up and prevent her from dying. And that's his solution for it. He never expects to get back with her when she's a kid. He's just like, I love her so much that I don't want her to die. And this is the only way I can think of preventing it. I have to stop time before she gets depressed. But then he murders like 1,000 people to accomplish this, somehow. And the writing is not very good. But then he cheats on his dead wife that he's apparently very loyal to. So, like, we're not even there. Bishin, the hamster stuff is dumb. Putting you in just sugar. I hate the hamster stuff. You are only useful because he gives us some story. Like, this guy, this dude, he is the only one who tries to give us any lore in the show. He's like, once upon a time, back in the day, there was a big tragedy, which back in the day is actually the future. He's like, there was a big tragedy and the whole city got destroyed and everyone died and the hamsters were at the brink of death and we got turned into monsters. But I think George never told him that he's responsible. He's the big bad who destroyed the city. They never clarified if it was George or some other third-party power that was evil. But the heavy implication is that George and Dr. Trom destroyed the city in the future, trying to, like, make their time machine. And then they just got the hamsters, and they never told the hamsters the truth. But this guy almost told us the lore, but I think he was in the dark. But the plot there is they never iron that out. They never make that clear. We never get full information, and I'm mad, and that's why I don't like Hakuto. I did not know that. Yeah. This is why the lore is so messy with Hakuto, because the dude explains in the interview. I'm trying to remember his name because I remember it's like Jun or Junichiro. That guy has the interview where he explains that the plot for Hakuto got too dark and they couldn't put it on screen. And so they just explained it off screen, and I was like, that's dumb. Yeah, Sato Junichi is the one who did the interview with that. And he talks about it. And there's like all this dark stuff that happened, and you wouldn't know. And it's why I don't like the plot of Hakuto. It's like, why did you make the story so dark if you can't even tell that in a children's series? Like, don't write it that way. It's why I've got beef with that show. Because I'm a plot person. Harry's the only good one of the hamster people. I like Harry, but then they decided to have a romance with Homer Day, and then I was like, never mind, I don't like Harry anymore. Why'd you do that? Technically, George cheated on 3 different people if you count Jellos too. I know he slept, like, the implications that he slept with Papidu and then he slept with Jealous. I don't know who the third person he slept with is, other than, I guess, just Hana herself to have a baby. But yeah, also the cheaty stuff is not great. I don't like that. I don't like, because the whole motivation for George is he's like, I love my wife so much that I'm willing to sacrifice everything in existence just to make sure she never grows up and gets depressed. But then he's like, I'm gonna sleep around with other women. And I'm like, what were they on with Hakuto? What were they doing in Hakuto when they wrote all of this? This is why Hakuto is such a... This is going to be so painful when I review Hakuto, because I've got so many hot takes, and then there's a lot of people who don't know what the actual lore in this show is, because the lore is bad. And it's going to be such a mess when I review Hakuto. I fear the day that I think of the top 10 shows I'm terrified to ever touch and review, Hakuto is one of them. Because I think I've had people in these live streams, like, people watch the live stream after I finished it, and it's all the only comments I ever get in these live streams are people being really upset that I have Hakuto takes. Like, I think some guy recently commented on one where I was reviewing the seasons, and the only thing that I said about Hakuto, because I had to go back and watch the video, I said I don't like that Hakuto has a lot of babyism. I think that's all I said in that video. I didn't even talk about the rest of the reasons why I don't care for Hakuto. And this guy was like, wow, you're a fake fan. You genuinely don't understand Hakuto. And I was like, bro, I didn't even talk about, like, that's my opinion. That's not even me, like, saying, like, Hakuto is, like, evil and you can't like it. I was like, I don't like the babies in Hakuto. I don't like the babyism. But I'm like, that's just my opinion. Like, that's not being like, you don't understand Hakuto. And I was like, that's like saying I don't like red flowers. That's not being like, you don't understand flowers. I'm like, I just don't like red flowers. It's like, that's just an opinion. It's not whether you understand or don't understand. It's just a personal preference. That's why I'm so confused. Anyway, George sucks. George could have been good, but he sucks. Alright, let me catch up. Every time I hear George, I think of Curious George. That's hilarious. Hakuto Precure, the anime, almost had the same humor as Zack Snyder, god. Pochiton is cured tomorrow, prove me wrong. Dude, if she has a cure form and they don't use it, I'd be so upset. I kind of thought Cure Star would be a yellow cure because, oh, that would have, sorry, I got the hiccups. That would have been really good. It doesn't make sense for her to be pink. Oh, yeah, it would have been cool if she was, I didn't even think about that, if she was a yellow one. That'd be neat. We need a yellow lead. I think that will be fun. I think in 2 seasons they should give us a yellow lead. It would fit her name to be Stella. Yeah, I'd like that. I haven't watched Hakuto yet. I didn't know. The scumbag was a cheater. I thought he was a creep. He is a creep in the fact that he has very weird interactions between him and Hana throughout the show, which, sorry, again, spoilers for Hakuto. However, I give more leeway for him, like, having those scenes. I think some of them are a little too creepy between him and Hana, but I definitely, like, if you had a partner that you were desperately in love with and you knew that they were going to suffer from depression and then you went back to the past to see them and you're like, this is somebody I'm going to fall passionately in love with and I really don't want to see anything bad happen to them, I imagine it would hard to be not completely weird about it. And I feel like I think the weirdest one is the bouquet scene, but I'm not surprised because he's like, the reason I'm doing this is to make sure you don't die. And it's kind of nice to see my wife, but also she's a child and it's weird. Like, I give them more leeway with that. Other stuff George did, I think, is weirder. Or just, like, more hypocritical of his motivations. Jet, please be a yellow we wish. Ben, you've got a very hot take. All-star Twinkle villains are sugar and salt. I'd love to hear your take on this. Also, I like red roses. Red roses are nice. Capard. I like Capard. I don't love him, but I do think he's a solid villain. I think they did a good job at paralleling him with Lala and Hikaru and not making it too weird. Because sometimes I feel like when they pair up a villain to specific characters, they make it kind of weird. But I like his pair up because his whole thing, like, each of the villains represents a different form of discrimination. And Lala has the, like, people just discriminate you because you're an alien and you don't fit in. And Hikaru got discriminated for, being into manga and nerdy stuff and got kind of isolated from people. So him paralleling that made sense. And I thought he was a fine villain. Dude, what's your name? The blue guy. Oh, he got paired up with let me look it up. Star Twinkle Villains. What was the blue guy's name? What was your name? Star Twinkle, please. God, I feel like they get so silly with B names. Alright, you are... Are you even listed? You are listed? Here you are. You are... God... Why are there so many vowels in this name? Garu Owaga. I can't even... Girl, never mind. Anyways, you're the most boring villain of the group. You're supposed to parallel with, Celine. He's supposed to parallel the fact that because he's second in command, he's expected to be perfect. which is similar to Celine, where in her family she's expected to be perfect. It was a weaker match between the two of them, but their fight scene was really good. I think he kind of is sugary for me. Actually, probably could put Capard higher. Da, 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 da. They just do nothing basically for the whole season. Just set them loose all the time. Like, even the most powerful loses in his first fight. I do think they're weaker than normal. But you don't like Tenjo and Elena's storyline? I thought that was cute. I hope they have power-ups this season. I'm kind of sick and tired of single power-ups. Dude, I hope we get power-ups too. The only good villain I will give you is I1. I1 was good. I liked I1. Alright, ooh. Another one I have hot takes for, but I feel less bad about these hot takes. Like, I definitely think I had piping hot takes for Hagato. And I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that people will not agree with me. But I feel like people don't care for healing good, so my opinions about the healing good villains I think will be overlooked. First and foremost, I think all the villains have dumb names and they're hard to pronounce. I think they have easily the worst names of the villains. We got Duraisen, where I feel like, again, that's another name that just has one extra syllable and don't be needing. Duraisen, hate him. Bottom. I feel like I just need a hate tier because just sugar means they're bad villains. Duraisen sucks because people... This is bringing back pretty privilege. Dune, I get pretty privilege, wherever I put him. Dune, he got pretty privilege. Duraisen does not get pretty privilege. Like, literally, the director, I think she had to come out and say something along the lines of, like, I regret making Duraisen so hot because people were like, he should be forgiven for his crimes because he's hot. And people just like him because he's an ikemen. Screw everybody who is like, Duraisen, you guys are so mean. And the fact that Nodoka didn't just, like, give up her body to just, like, let him heal. She's so evil. Like, y'all all missed the message. I am a #1 Duraisen hater. He is abusive, he is terrible, he is selfish, and he deserved to die. I'm going very heavy on spoilers, by the way. I hope that is not too much of a problem at this point. Off topic, but when I was buying groceries at Smart and Final, I bought the unofficial fan guide to K-pop Demon Hunters. Ooh, I didn't know they had one. That sounds fun. No, it wasn't set up in a way any of us expected to care. That's fair. They did pull that at towards the end. I hate people that ship him with Nodoka, thank you. You should make a section Rotten Apple. We're doing that. Good idea. I feel like this is my most controversial review that I've had. I'm really just popping off today. Alright, we're gonna do Rotten Apple. Duraisen goes in here. Where's George? And then just pretend Blue is in here as well. Where did I put George? Where are you? You're right here. You're in here. I didn't like you. You are very close to getting put in Rotten Apples, I'll tell you that, sir. Dr. Trom goes in here. Hate him. Who else sucks? Who else sucks? Who is terrible? I guess you'd all be down here. You guys are, I think we're fine for now. I think my most rage-inducing characters are already in this category. My Duraisen sucks. And people are like, he's hot. And I was like, no, he's literally one of the most horrific villains in the series. For the shit he pulls. I'm cussing. That's how mad I am. I am so sorry. Do you think you could make the same video but talk about final battles? Probably not. I feel like I have proven that I do not remember the end of some early shows. You're right, we should change the color. Go to red. I don't think there's a brown. No, well, wedding cake is red. Wedding cake should be blue. Wedding cake should be blue. There we go. It's color-coded properly. Goodness. I'm so sorry I'm popping off today. I wish we could find Precure merch in America. It is hard. Like, if you have a Kinokuniya, that's the best you can get. I am a #1 Nodoka defender. Let's go. The middle school girl should not have been expected to take care of a virus that made her ill for years of her life. That's what I'm saying. You understand me, Melly. You understand the strong feelings I have about this kid show. Quite literally taking her life force. You get it. You understand how I feel. Anyways, what was his? Was it Guaidu? What was his name? Goodness. Healing good. Healing good characters. What was your name? Oh my god. Yeah, go I. This has one extra syllable in it. It does not need to be gu a wa ru. It is like too many syllables in this name. This is the season of too many syllables and too many vowels. Less vowels in the name. Anyways, this guy was like, he felt like a discount version. He felt like the store brand version of the other like goofy like buff men who's dumb. And then like he became the villain for like a half a second and he sucked. And they were originally gonna do something with him and Cure Sparkle, but then they ran out of episodes. He's just not good. He's just not great. I also feel like this guy should go up a little bit higher. A little bit higher. I think I put that guy too low. I've been all over the place before. I've been sticking people. I wish there was an actual good romance of a villain in love with a Precure and no age gap. Listen, they had their chances. They had their chances. These fine lads right here. Where did I put my son? These fine three could have easily been there. I know people want Honoka and Nagisa to get together, so I understand not wanting him to get in the way. But these two absolutely could have been with Ichika. Could have been with Cure Diamond. I wouldn't have complained. We don't talk about Rotten Apple. Truly. Truly. And then there is good old fashioned Batata Moda, who I always get confused with Batamanda. And I have to work really hard to not accidentally say both of their names. I didn't like him. I feel like a lot of people got attached to him because he was silly. But he was just kind of a silly rat guy. And then he died. I will say he died so much sooner than I thought he was going to. He really rolled in and then rolled right back out. Regina with Mana would have been a good romance. Agreed. Agreed. And Beebody and CL would have also been really cute. This guy, yeah, he's whatever. I don't have very strong feelings. I'll just put him in health bar. Like, he was funny, but like he was whatever. Yeah, I will not forget about Regina and Mana. I guess I was thinking of just the boy villains because we've been doing boy ones, but yeah, plenty of girl villain romance that could have blossomed. Some of the villain cure ships are very disturbing. Yeah, it's the darker corner of the fandom that I stay away from because every season. And I'm a little mad with the writers too, because sometimes they'll have like the adult man be a little weird with one of the girls more so, and it adds fire to the flames when it comes to shipping. This little thing, I don't even remember if they gave him a name. This little guy sucks. He was there for one episode, and that's where he belongs. Putting you in here. You sucked. Everything about his existence, this is one of the things where I want to just sit down with the writers and be like, so why did we do this? Like, you guys made a point, but the point was kind of too dark and creepy, and I didn't like it. I low-key hated everything that happened with that plotline, and I try to wipe that specific storyline from my brain. Do you ship Love and Setsuna? Yeah. I think they're cute together. I'm not like a hardcore shipper of any of some of the earlier ones, but I absolutely am like, if people ship it, I'm not gonna fight that. I think it's cute. And I guess on that line, the other one is I do like Toa with Kirara? I hope I'm not forgetting names. The amnesia is taking over. Am I the only man thought he was like a forbidden cousin of Master Splinter? Stop. Stop! That's hilarious. Oh yeah, they made Nodoka ill. Yeah, it was a bad episode. We all blocked that out. We all pretended that episode did not happen. Like, it's a major plot point, but everything about how that episode unfolded, I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Why was Derizen there twice? Yeah, like, the clone Derizen. I think he has a name. I'm not looking it up. And then King Byogen was bad. He just wasn't a good villain. He was such a nothing burger one. I honestly would have been less surprised if Derizen ended up being the final boss. But then this guy was just like a whatever villain. But the end of Healing Good went through so much that it's not surprising that show suffered a lot towards the end. They had a lot of IRL problems. The Yume ship of me and Shut best Precure ship. Magical girl, magical boy genres, 50% LGBT and 50% creepy age gap. Stop. It is, though, and it's awful. And it's so true, and it's awful. I still don't know how I feel about mini Dead Eyes, and I know it's not positive. Join the club. Now we're on. We have a palette cleanser. We only have two villains to go through because most of them were girls for Tropical Rouge. What was this guy's name? What was his name? It's like Kudusty or something. The crab pun. Tropical Rouge had fun villains. I like the Tropical Rouge villains. I'm quite happy with them. Because wasn't the other guy just named Butler? What was your name? What was your name? Yeah, you're just Butler and the other guy. Oh, Chongire! Chongire! He had a great name. Chongire has, like, he has the best name. This is the best name, dude. I love Chongire. I think Chongire was great. He had the pay me like my French girl meme going on with him. He was great. I love Chongire. I call the other Doraisen son. Ugh. The way I meant type man and I type person, I'm also a girl. Gotcha. Got you. Thank you for the clarification. I love Chongide. Chongide is funny. I love him. He's great. Cute little lazy butler, our lazy chef of the group. Butler's great. I think in terms of, like, where I feel like having the twist villain for, who did we say was a crappy twist villain? Oh, you. You were like a lame twist villain who was a lackey turned twist villain. I think Butler was great. I think Butler progressively made more sense that he was the twist villain because it was becoming very obvious that the Witch of Delays didn't want to be evil. And he's like, he very eloquently, slowly kept being like, you should be evil. You should be evil. You should be evil. And then he's like, I'll do it myself. I don't think he, like, in terms of, like, a villain was, for a final boss, like, the most intimidating final boss we've ever had. Like, he's not the scariest guy. Like, he doesn't have the same aura as, like, Joker. But I think in terms of the story, it made the most sense that he was going to usurp the Witch of Delays. So I liked him. In that sense. The only good villain in Tropical Rouge. I agree with the Tropical Rouge had really amazing villains. I like their villains a lot. I don't like the Tropical Rouge villains at all. They're just the worst type of villains. Not even evil, just goofy. I can absolutely see that. I can absolutely be like, they're way too silly Billy and not evil enough. Because I do think, like, again, like I said, Butler was not a fantastically terrifying final villain. I think he just made sense within the scope of the story. But I definitely would say Joker's, like, significantly better. Ba, 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 ba. As a bi individual and a demigirl, yo, I feel that. I'm cool with LGBT representation, but the age gaps and sibling stuff is gross. Agreed, agreed. As a pan demigirl, I 100% agree. Now we go on to Delicious Party. Now, Narcissistu is interesting because I genuinely feel like I don't know what my opinion is on Narcissistu anymore because of the fandom. Girl, the fandom loves Narcissistu. I don't know what this dude did, but everybody loves him. I kind of am just like, he's just kind of a villain. I did not, like, super get attached to this guy. Like, I didn't hate him. I didn't love him. I was like, he's pretty evil. What he did to Cure Finale was really bad. And then, like, his comeuppance for everything he did was interesting. Like, I just didn't care. But man, does the fandom think he's the best thing that's ever happened. There are a lot of people that like Narcissistu. I'm like, he's gonna get his own show with how much people love this dude. Narcissistu, I love him too. That's what I've been saying. People are like that. People love this guy. I think I just, like, my thing is, I think I would have had an opinion, but I'm just, like, lost in the sea of people just loving him. And I just don't know how I feel. Like, is there an I don't know category? Like, I feel like just sticking him with cookie and icing, kind of middle of the road. He's just kind of there. But God, people love this man. Narcissistu is cool. I like his personality. I'm not obsessed with him, but pretty okay. The Narcissistu takes are so funny to me. I don't remember the robot much. I remember them making the robot, and he was there for like 2.5 seconds. Does he really deserve to be on this tier list at all? Did the robot last more than an episode? How long was the robot relevant? Did the robot die? Was he even in the finale? I have to look this up. How long did the robot last? Goodness. Goodness me. What was your name, robot? Spiritoru. Spiritoru. Originally programmed for Narcissistoru, he was a cheerleader. But after he was reprogrammed, he became more serious and task-oriented. How long did you last in this show? How long were you even here? You were introduced in episode 25. When did you stop being in the show? I wish it had an episode list of how frequently he was there. He was reprogrammed and becomes a happy robot and understood the goodness of sharing food. Reading this out loud is so silly. Neshistaru made him the bot, lasted the whole series. Dude, I really said forget the robot. Put him in a... don't remember. Yeah, it said he was there for the rest of the series. I do think it's funny because it's like it was revealed that he's been successfully stealing recipes overseas. So he's just been harassing like China. He's been ruining the food of China the entire series. Some funny lore that I absolutely missed. That's hilarious. What if the Cure Precious comes the final villain of the battle? That'd be interesting. Have to see how they handle it. Goodness. All right. Then we've got which herb were you? You fennel. Oh my god, I hate the ads. The ads take up the whole screen. Yeah, you're fennel. Fennel as the twist villain as Godots. I think my opinion aligns with what a lot of people feel about him as the final villain. His whole bit was that he's like, he's a pick me. He's like, Dad didn't pick me, and so I became evil. And I really didn't like Cinnamon, but I also didn't really have that many hard feelings towards Rosemary because he didn't pick Rosemary either. And it's just, I think my main problem with this dude is that the whole problem that Delicious Party suffers from, which is that the cures are irrelevant to the story. Like, the cures are fixing all of these infighting that the Cook Kingdom is dealing with. And they're like, we're gonna solve all your problems, but we don't relate to them at all. Like, nothing about the villain storylines mattered to the main characters. Like, as we get through the next set of villains, especially when we get to, Wonderful. Wonderful's villains, despite not being directly involved to our main characters, they parallel their storylines to the villains. They didn't do that with Godots, which is why I feel like a lot of people didn't like the ending and didn't really care for the things that happened at the end of Delicious Party. However, I do think that the story by itself, like if it was just a story about Cook Kingdom and this was just about the cook fighters and the infighting, the in-cook fighting that happened, I feel like it would have been a good story by itself. I think it would have been a really good standalone story because I don't think it's bad writing. It's just they wrote another story inside a different story. Not gonna lie, I like Godot. Got extra points for being a dill. I do think he has a fun design. I think keeping him like a normal dude with just like a little bit of an evil outfit was not something we seem to do much. I genuinely think that, again, if it was a standalone story, it'd be good. I just think it needed to parallel the cures more, because the cures were very irrelevant. Nonetheless, we are on to Hiroguru. And we start off with Kabuton. Kabuton's another one where I feel like I wouldn't have an opinion. It's like Narcissistoru, where it's like, I don't really care, he's just kind of a villain. But God, specifically the running bit with Leo, it's like, well, now I feel like I've got some fondness to Kabuton. I think the downside to Kabuton is that they, like, had him defeated earlier in the series, and then they just got rid of him for a while, and I feel like him, like, hanging around would have been more interesting. I feel like Idol did a little bit better job with the villains in that regard. I think he should have come back into the story and just been hanging around as an entity much sooner. I think he was underutilized, personally. But I did like his final confrontation with Sky. Okay, now trying not to get the names confused. We got Batamanda. The writers liked this dude way too much. Am I not the only person who feels this way? This guy, the writers loved him. They gave him so much story. They made him a cure. Like, they liked this dude way too much. And I didn't see the appeal. I was like, they love Batamonda. He kept around. They're like, he's a bad guy, but he's a scaredy cat. And then he's gonna have, like, a lot of coming to Jesus moments. And I was just like, they like you too much. They like you way too much. I feel like he was just okay, but the writers loved him. I'm gonna put him down in Just Sugar. They actually gave him a storyline. They gave him a whole book. He's got a whole novel going on. And they, like, got him very involved with, like, Mashido and, like, her being a part of his, like, discovery of being, like, I guess not a narc. It was an interesting storyline. I was like, and he's back again. Like, we're like, ooh, who's Cure Pumpkin? And they're like, nobody expected it to be this loser. he is, he is something. I'll give him that. Minaton didn't have enough screen time. He didn't do much. I feel like for as much as they, like, did something interesting with Kabuton and then did way too much with Batamonda or Batamanda. See, I'm already doing it. Minaton was just kind of there. Minaton was fine. What if the Delicious Party cures? If the final villain were who you think, would you be? Oh, I have to read that. Who you? Oh, if I had to guess who the villain was, or just, like, decide who the villain should be, if not Fiddle. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Narcissus Sudu could have been a fine final villain. He seemed to be evil and didn't care about people enough to be the final villain too. I don't know. That one's tough. I feel like there'd have to be a lot of rewriting to figure something out there. This is just Emperor Undurg, right? He was a good dad. And put him up there. He was a good dad. He tried his best, and he tried to get peace and tried not to be evil. As a villain, he wasn't much of a villain. But as a dude, he was great. I think it was so funny that he became known as Cure Pumpkin. Bro made it on the team somehow. In terms of, like, really, really terrible villains, Baldy McBalderson is going up here. He is genuinely super evil. Like, he's very... I'm gonna put him next to Joker in terms of just being really terrible evil guys. See, we got good dad villains. We're gonna put them next to each other. All the dad villains get together, and then we got this piece of crap. Easily one of the most horrific things done in the series. Literally, like, killing a girl's father, and then putting her in a tank and brainwashing her for decades, if not, like, thousands of years. Brainwashes her, and then turns her into the villain. That was evil. Evil actions. Because other villains are just like, I'm evil, we might kill people. This guy did directly terrible things. Spearhead is just sugar. I think in terms of him being a really evil villain who we rooted for dying, he's a good villain. But his actions are absolutely heinous. Like, I think in terms of a good villain, as a villain... See, I have not done this tier list consistently. Am I tripping, or is Ryan putting the same thing twice? You're gonna have to elaborate. But I think he's a good evil villain. Like, he's a dude that we all wanted dead. We happily wanted him dead for being an evil villain. But I didn't think he was evil in a way that made him as bad as, like, George and Blue. Like, George and Blue did really heinous things, but heinous things were like, that was too far. That's too much for a kid's show. What are we doing? I think Spearhead did really heinous stuff that was like, he's a villain and we want him dead. And that's what you want a villain to be. Spearhead is more evil than Joker. Exactly. Like, downright deplorable individual. Now we are down to the wonderful ones, and I guess we don't have the You and Idol ones, which I'll mentally say where the You and Idol villains go. Alright. Why am I blanking on your name? I'm gonna have to look it. Why did I blank? I know your name. We just saw you 2 years ago. I did a whole review on you. What is your name? Why did I forget? To- Torame. Torame. Wedding Cake, both of them. I love Torame. I think I'm not quite putting him at Wedding Cake because I wanted more from his character, but he had a very emotional plotline and made me feel things. I think he had a really good story. I think he was fun. I think we should have had them sooner. I think the series did a injustice by adding these really good villains halfway through the show when they should have been there the whole time. That being said, my man, top of the list. His story's so good. Him becoming a villain is so justified. He is so good. Our man Gallo, one of my favorite villains in the entire series. I think he is the only, if I'm looking closely enough, he is the only villain male final boss that I put in the top tier, where I genuinely think he's a good villain, but also he's so justified. He's so real for that, though. I also, like, if, specifically as a cat owner, my cat died, I'd be killing everyone too. I'd be like, everyone's done. They will all suffer. You're done. Very much agree with this man. Still waiting for a holiday theme season. I wish we could have a main orange current. Oh, name Cure Trick. That'd be so cute. Never mind, I keep seeing the two same comments. Ah, I got you. If one of the cures from Hood Ogaru Sky became the final villain, I think it'd be interesting if Majesty did. I think she has, like, the least attached to her, so she'd be the easiest one to put in the villain category. Alright, so mentally, I'm going to stick the You and Idol ones somewhere because the You and Idol ones are not part of this poll. It was last modified 10/10/2024, which has been a hot minute. So that is why we don't have the You and Idol ones. I will say, Cuddy. Cuddy goes in Brownie. I like Cuddy. I think he's a solid doofus guy. I think he has a good plot line. He sticks around the story. He might even be Donut. I like Cuddy. I think Cuddy was good. Zakudi is in Health Bar. Zakudi, again, is an example that I talked about earlier, where sometimes the villains, when they parallel them to characters, it's just weird. Zakudi and everything that they kept doing with him and Kier Wink crossed the line for me. Too far. Too much. Too much. Yeah, Cuddy's in Donut. Cuddy, I think Cuddy should be in Donut. Zakudi, Health Bar. He was too creepy. Like, they just did everything right with Cuddy, and they're like, what if we take Zakudi and do everything wrong? And that's how I feel. I think Zakudi had an okay personality. But everything where they're like, he's gonna be obsessed with Wink, and he's gonna be weird about it. Hate it. Hated that. Don't do that. You didn't have to do that. Again, you have Cuddy. You have the perfect cookie cutter Cuddy villain. And then you made Zakudi. Disrespectful. Chokiine, another villain that has too many syllables in the name. It needs one less syllable. Chokiine instead of Chogirine. I probably will put in, like, Cookie. She overstayed her welcome. I feel like she should have gotten redeemed sooner, because she just kind of was there, and she's like, ah, man, I hate my job. And then would lose. And then she's like, oh no, I'm gonna get fired. And then she would do that for, like, the last 20 episodes of the show. And I was like, they needed an extra villain. I think they needed one more villain in You and Idol. I think they needed one more lackey, especially somebody to parallel with Kyun Kyun, because Kyun Kyun got nobody. She didn't get a villain to pair up with, which is wild to me. It was crazy. They're like, we're gonna pair up Cuddy with Idol, and we're gonna pair up Zakudi with Kierwink, and then Kyun Kyun got no one. And then you can make an argument for, depending on the episode, for our duo. But it was weird. I don't know. And then Darkine. Darkine I'm gonna also put in Cookie with Icing, where She is not as bad as some other people. I realize I need to move Cavaton up there. She is not as bad as other people, but girl did nothing. Girl did nothing. I think the little grain of salt of lore that we got with her was interesting, where she's like, I hear people being like depressed all the time and it's really irritating and I want everybody to staffu. I thought that was good. Like, I'm like, when you guys actually want to write in the show, you guys can. You're just choosing not to write. And so I am putting her in Cookie with Icing. And then for the new villains, I'm going to preemptively put them in categories too. But I think it's too early to tell. I like Niji. I'm putting Niji in Donut. I think he's, like, ironically enough, the most competent villain, but they let him still be a boy failure, and I appreciate that. He's a little failure of a dude. But he's also more competent than the others, and I think that's fun. Niji's interesting. I also like that he can act. Like, he really does a good job at pretending to be other people. Um, oh god, what was her name? It's like Audison. Age-san. Age-sen. Age-sen. Age-sen is probably one tier lower. I think she has potential. I think she's fun, but she's dumb. She was a little too dumb for me. I wanted her to be like a little bit more intelligent. And then what's his name? New guy. It's like Goemon. I'm trying to remember his name. You guys can see I'm very bad with names. He is dumb, but he's lovable dumb, so he's in Brownie. Like, he's allowed to be dumb, but he's like his thing is he's supposed to be the stupid one. They're pretending that Age-sen is competent, so she's being too dumb for like how competent it's implying that she's like the sassy one who's like, I'm sassy, and then continues to be better than everybody else, but then she's also a little bit of a girl failure, but like too much of a girl failure. But yeah. I think she has potential. I think she has potential. I need to see more of her. But lovable idiot dude, he was great. He was great. I think he was really funny, and I think he's gonna be one of. I'm putting money on him being the first to be redeemed because he's so dumb, and doesn't seem to be that antagonistic thus far. And then Arcana Shadow's wedding tier, baby. Wedding tier, Arcana Shadow. I love her. I love her to pieces. Arcana Shadow, my beloved. You've been here for 2 seconds and all you do is eat ice cream, and then we cheered. Love Arcana Shadow. And then Uso Noir, he is staying in Cookie until he plot twist reveals that he's actually a woman and has some Satian backstory, then he can go to Wedding Cake. That's fine. When we get the plot twist with that dude, my opinion will vastly change. But for now, he's whatever. He's kind of boring. August-san gets her own invisible tier. Kiro's favorite thing. Oh my goodness. Forgot to mention I love your fit today. Thank you! We have moved on to my spring fit. Oh, I guess now that we're like wrapping up, I can make a couple of announcements. One, this will be my last new model for a minute. I think I am going to reuse the summer one I did before and keep it this style. The next style of models that we have will be a different style. I think I'm going to retire the panty and stocking-esque style I've been doing, and we will be moving into something new, but that will probably be a 2027 thing at this point. It could be earlier. It could be earlier, but it's not completely in my control, so it's probably a 2027 thing, and then I've got big event stuff. For March, specifically from the middle to the end of March, one of the two big events things that I need to do will be chomping my March time. The other big event is still very much up in the air. I was hoping that the other big event thing would also have been taken care of by this point. It has not. Sometime between now and August will be the big event. I kind of go dark for a month. I don't know when that's happening. I sure would love to know when the other actual far more big event occurs. But again, I will be disappearing at some point during the warm months, and then I should be back to a regular schedule come fall. Allegedly. Other announcements. I plan on covering Luto Lily next season. I'm hoping that my initial big event stuff doesn't get too much in the way of it, but I think Luluto Lily comes out in April, so that should be good. Because let me tell you, the end of March is going to be very chaotic for me. But it will totally be worth it. And then also, after March finishes, I will be able to talk about that big event. I will be able to talk about what happened during that big event. Maybe I will have excited footage from that big event. We'll see what I end up coming up with after that because, girl, I am in it. I am in it right now with all the stuff I have to do with that. I have been, without spoiling anything, ordering many things, arranging many things, planning many things, talking to too many people. There's a drama and it is getting sorted. Big event stuff. Big event stuff. Oh my goodness. Penny and Stocking was my first Magical Girl show, and I, one, dig the art, and two, didn't understand the jokes because I was 10 or 11. Same. I watched that way too young. I was like, I love this show, but they made so many jokes, and there were so many adult words I didn't know, and let me tell you, I did a good thing by not looking them up. I later went back and watched that when I was an adult, and I was like, girl, they be saying stuff on here that little tiny me did not understand. Tiny me did not get that show. Don't watch Penny and Stocking until you're an adult. You won't appreciate it. You won't understand it. You won't appreciate it. It will probably upset you. Wait until you're old enough. I watch a lot of stuff I shouldn't have watched as a kid. Don't do what I do. Be better. Be smarter. Watch Precure. That's fine. Precure is age appropriate. All right. Other stuff I want to talk about. I was debating, like, next week I will be doing the normal weekly stream for Infinity Nikki for the next update, which has a very Sailor Moony update, and I'm very excited to get my Sailor Moon unicorn outfit. I have saved up for it. I did want to ask you guys if you guys would be so kind. We do have Next Fest going on right now where there are a bunch of demos for upcoming games on Steam, and I was debating, and it would depend on if you guys are interested in this or not. Would you guys be interested in going through magical themed demos, like stuff that's magical girly-esque, and just like spending a little bit of time on each of these games and checking them out and see if they're worth it? Would there be any desire to try something out on that? I might do something there. I don't know if I want to do a stream or a standalone for that. I don't know. I have to figure out what would work best because I kind of want to, like, part of the channel is supposed to be a magical girl channel, and I know it stays very Precure focused, but I genuinely like all things magical and would like to talk about like other magical things. I also have a history of working in games, so I do a lot of game stuff. So reviewing games, I, at least on the art side, can be like, I have a little bit more of an educated opinion on these things because I actually have a history of doing stuff like that. I did make a list too of the games on Steam. So the biggest one that I will do, and I plan on covering on the channel when it fully releases, is I was part of the Kickstarter for Witch's Bakery, and then I played the closed beta for Witch's Bakery, and now they have the demo. I think the demo is very similar to what was in the closed beta. I can't talk about anything in the closed beta, but hopefully the demo is pretty much one for one, so I can talk about it now. But the games that I downloaded for the demos that I saw, which I went through very quickly, and I tried to make sure they're not AI oriented. Let's see if I can bother putting this up on screen. Let's see if I can actually see if I can get my Steam library up on here and see if that's even a good idea. Probably should studio mode this. Let's see. Switch from Photoshop since we don't have that open. We have Steam. And then turn that on. Ooh. Is there a way to get it to not crop? Eh. 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 Boop. Okay. Okay, here we go. So, some of the games I looked at, and if these end up having AI and you notice that it has AI, let me know. I'll remove it immediately. Some of the ones that I quickly grabbed that had magical themage to them at all. We have Avernoth, which I'll just go to the store page. We might as well read up on it. Don't be auto-playing anything. Sealed away in an ancient alternative dimension, you must find a way to break free in this fantasy action roguelike, uncover a variety of spells to cast your way through the waves of hostile magical apparitions. Discover the secrets of Avermoth. Or Avermoth or Avernoth? Okay, I think the end just looks like that. Avernoth to make escape possible. Do you have what it takes? So this is just a roguelike game. Pretty basic spelly magical game. Next up, we have on a different level, we have a dating sim. We have Blooming Suspicion. Investigate, solve mysteries, and even fall in love in Blooming Suspicion, a witchy visual novel set in the modern day Seoul with a magical twist. So just another kind of fun demo for the next fest. Do 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 do. Shout out to Magical Boys. We love some Magical Boys. Next on my list, we got a couple here. We got the bookbinding, which is no auto adding. A quiet bookshop, a magical past, a murder, and tarot cards that can twist fate itself. Craft beautiful covers, read between the lines of your customers' lives, and decide which secrets deserve to stay hidden, including your own. A lot of these will ultimately skew more witchy than they will magical girly, but that's just because that's kind of the reality we live in. I don't know why I put Fields of Mystery in my demo folder. That's the wrong one. Fields of Mystery, though, is by... the art is done by Biso Hime. And Biso Hime does a lot of Sailor Moon fan art. She does a lot of 90s magical girly stuff. So if you want to play a game that's basically Stardew, but with magic, and all the characters look like Sailor Moon characters... I cannot recommend Fields of Mystery enough. This is such a good game. Such a good... I put a lot of hours into it. I highly recommend it. That's just a side one. That's been in early access for a while. That's not a demo. Next up, we have Green Hearth Necromancer. Oop, get over here. It's a fun 3D game. It is Raise a Garden from the Dead. Green Hearth Necromancer is a cozy, witchy, semi-idle game about caring for living and undead plants alike. Grow cute plants in your balcony, cast spells, brew potions, enjoying the chill, indeed gameplay and the ambiance throughout your day. So this is one of those, like, kind of plays a bit in the background, but it looked interesting. I threw it up on my demo list. Pantheon Stalking inspired me to make art. It makes me feel like I love the art style for it, as you can tell. I think the art style is very, very funny. I like it. I also like more geometric art styles because they're just easier to draw. Alright, this one I think is more of an idle game. We have Hocus Focus, a cozy gamified focus tool that helps you work, study, or relax with soothing tunes, customize your workspace, and summon your focus with productivity tools. So it's kind of like make your own lo-fi girl, essentially, but it's magic themed. You're a student at a magical university, control time, weather, and unlock new locations, collect cute meatskins, and level up your in-game and in real life. Next we have Ginny the Witch. This one I think was a roguelike or something along those lines, where something evil is brewing deep below New York City, and Guinevere Macaroni has been hired to uncover it. Shoot and slash your way through an army of robots in the standalone story set in the Steel Carnelian universe. I think this one is using the word witch a little bit loosely, I'll be honest, but she made it on the list. We got the Magus Circle. This one is Magic is Art. Draw arcane sigils and combine powerful upgrades to dominate an endless tide. Meet other mages and unlock their abilities. Discover secrets hidden inside the Magus Mansion and raise your familiars. Enjoy some tea. And you guys know I do like some tea. This one is not so much magical. I just like mermaids. I've seen this before. I think these are like detective games, and this is just in the series. I don't know what the rest of this is. It's also by the people who did Crow Country, but I love the art style for the characters. This is just a mystery series. An impossible locked room murder. Captain Mortuga lies dead inside an ancient cauldron aboard the world's strangest submarine, crewed by sketchy suspects. A handcrafted point and click and sharp humor and tricky puzzles dive into the next mystery from the creators of Tangle Tower and Crow Country. Which, I think this also has voice acting, for anybody who needs a good mystery. Now, this I think is by Elan Studio, which does all of the GL visual novels. This is co-developed by Ebi Hime. This is a fairy tale-inspired Yuri visual novel full of magic. Follow Paige, a struggling writer, as she moves into a spacious home in the English countryside and meets the mysterious Fae. They've done a lot of really good Yuri visual novels, so I was like, I'll take another one, thank you. I love my Yuri visual novels. Next up, we have The Piper of Dawn. Welcome to Diamond City, a sealed off paradise. You play the role of an alchemist running a one stop empire farming, people farming, shopkeeping, and alchemy. Choose your companion and set out on a fantastical journey where rich storytelling blends seamlessly with deep simulation gameplay. Next up, we've got Rumicon. Rune Omicon. It's like a Necronomicon thing, but with runes. Perform a dark ritual with your own hands under the relentless pressure. Draw runes in real time. Defend the ritual from enemies trying to stop it. Upgrade your skills and unleash devastating magic. Summon the ancient eldritch gods in the dark fantasy game, driven by skill, strategy, and constant tension. Which I think this is like a base defense kind of game. So far, I don't see any AI art. Yeah, I think a lot of them have to disclose that they're AI art. And so, fortunately, I think I was able to filter out because there was a couple that look cute, and then it's like AI, like UI and stuff, and I was like, absolutely not. Remove those from the list. Next, we have Spirit Talk, a cozy visual novel about a lovely witch who's able to talk to spirits in a fantasy setting using her powers. Julia helps her neighbors in their daily whereabouts, craft potions, find the right time to use them, and get to know both spirits and clients to find their own peace. Boop, boop, boop. Then we've got Wicked Witch Little, or Wicked Little Witch. I think this one was the Chinese one. City Witch lost in the woods faces enemies both familiar and strange in this action roguelike, which I think is like a vampire survivors kind of game. Unlock new characters, collect spells, and build your own playstyle as you uncover the truth. So if you've ever played anything like Hollow Cure or Vampire Survivors, I think this is very similar to those game types. Witch's Bakery. Let me make sure this is the right one. That's the one that you guys can't look at because it's the closed beta demo. This is the demo for this one though, the general demo. Where Witch's Bakery is this incredibly cute, like you own a bakery in Paris and you have to make food, but also you are a witch of heart and you can magically help people's emotions. It's really, really cute. I really loved the demo for this. The formal summary is The Witch's Bakery is a 2D adventure RPG where you live a magical life as a witch baker in Paris. Manage your store, visit iconic streets, and heal people's hearts with your croissants. It's really good. It's very cute. I highly recommend this one when it comes out fully. But I'm also biased because I am part of the Kickstarter for that one. We then have two more. We've got Witch's Spire, a survival crafting adventure in a world brimming with magic and peril. Befriend and battle creatures and conjure up a sanctuary alongside other witches in co-op or single player. I don't know if co-op is in this demo though, because usually they don't have co-op for these demos. But hey, if we potentially could co-op the demo if we wanted to play this one. And then last on my list is the Cat Familiar Center, which I think is another. I think this was Chinese, might be Japanese. But I've heard of Calico Studios before. They've done something that I played. This is the Cat Familiar Center. It is a relaxing cat raising game. Players will play as a witch and, with the help of fellow witches, train different cat familiars and find suitable new homes for them. So I thought this one was just cute. I also like cats. I'm also super biased because I like cats. And I think that's it for the games that I had seen. Other games, there is one other one. There's like Danganronpa Magical Girl game that I think is finally out in English. That was really popular in Japan last year. They had like Nendoroids for the characters and everything. I have to check the trigger warnings on that because I had an interest in playing it because I love darker games and I do love Magical Girls, but I don't know how dark that game gets. it's been compared to Danganronpa, but I don't know how many, like, I need to look up what the triggers are for that. I don't know how many lines it crosses to the point where I think it might not be appropriate any longer to play on, like, the channel or anything. But that one was interesting. People love Danganronpa-esque games. But that's something I am thinking about showcasing on here. The other thing is doing long form figure videos is another thing that I have considered. I have one figure video recorded that I just need to edit, and that might go up on the channel if people are interested in something along those lines. Just lots of stuff I'm thinking about doing. We will see what ends up sticking. But nonetheless, that is it for me. That is everything I've got going on now. I might do the demo stuff, debating whether I'm doing that pre-recorded or stream, or if at all, because I think it expires soon. Had to drink water. But other than that, that is all for now. Thank you guys for joining me for another Sunday stream. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of amnesia. I'm scared of what the comments on this video are going to be, because I got heated and I needed to hold back and I didn't. I've got strong opinions on Hakuto. So, you know, I'll sift through what I get, you know. I get what I get with those. But until next time, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye!